And welcome to Hero Power. I'm your host, Avanties, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Zerotio.
What is up, gang? How are you doing, Avantis?
I am tired.
Me
So,
too.
so for everyone listening at home, we normally record Hero Power 2 o'clock ish on Saturday afternoons to get it ready to be released on Monday morning. It is almost 11 o'clock on the East Coast, 11 p.m. on the East Coast. We're just now getting around to doing this because we both had crazy days, crazy weeks. My part time job really got crazy this week, and I'm having to fill in additional hours. And for those of you, I normally work like 8 to noon on Saturday mornings, just 4 hours. I ended up working like 8 to 5 today, like a full shift. First time in 2.5 years that I've been at that job. So yeah, it's been hectic. It's been crazy, but I have gotten to play some Hearthstone. I'll tell you, I played a couple of games of. I played a couple of Battlegrounds. So if you guys watched the show last week, it was last week we played Battlegrounds, right? And
Yes,
won. And
yes,
then
did really well.
and yeah, we won that battleground on the show last week. And then the following Monday, I played two more battlegrounds and got first place in both of those as well. So I had three firsts back to back to back, which was
Nice.
really good. And then I played a couple more, but then I had to find something to complete my weekly quests. And I stumbled across a deck list, and I'm gonna apologize now. I don't remember where I got it, but it is a even Highlander Warlock in Wild.
What? Post nerf?
Yes, post nerfs,
Wow.
even Highlander Warlock, and this deck is bonkers, absolutely bonkers. I'm like 7-0 with it. I've rocketed all the way up from bronze 10, having not played any wild, to like mid silver already, and I am having an absolute blast with this deck. It is so much fun.
Nice.
I have absolutely destroyed Pirate Warrior. I have destroyed
Wow.
I've destroyed Evolve Shaman. I have beaten Mirror Highlander Warlocks. I mean, the deck is just good, and I've been having a blast with it. So, but we don't do a whole lot of wild here, so we do have a standard deck this week, and
Mhm.
to kind of talk a little bit about that, Zerotio, how was your week?
Week's pretty good. I didn't get a lot of Hearthstone in, mainly just because just a very busy work week. Uh, Coming back to my second job after injuring my back uh, with some late nights. Also, meanwhile, we paid off our car. I think I talked about that before,
Congratulations.
and we were going through the ground steps of getting my wife a car. So we had to go do that on Wednesday, and then we went car shopping today. That was pretty much all we did. I didn't get home till around 5 p.m. from going at about 9 this morning, meeting up with dealerships. And my wife picked out a car, and hopefully we can get the bank to get everything all tightened up. And by this time next week, we will be a two-car household, and that's definitely going to relieve a lot of stress on me
That'll be the
and my wife.
first time y'all been a two-car household?
Since we've been married, yeah. But
Okay.
when we were still dating and living together, we each had a car, but it was kind of run down.
Mm.
Uh, both of the cars were run down, really. So, but since we've been married and been in Cleveland, yeah, we've always been one car, which worked out well because one of us or both of us worked across the street. But now that we both work at different locations and away from the house, we need a 2-car, and especially with me having a second job. So, but I did play some Hearthstone. I didn't play a lot. Right now, I'm 6-0 with this FunkiMonki version of Beast Hunter. That's after the balance changes. So, again, I think I'm sitting around Diamond 4. I probably won't get Legend just because I haven't had enough time, but I'm getting a high win rate with this deck. If I have some time tomorrow, I might try to push up towards Legend, but we'll just have to see how the deck goes tonight, and then how much time I have tomorrow before I have to go into work. So, but other than that, I'll be honest, I've been playing a lot of Valheim when I can because the Hearth at Home patch came out, and it's very relaxing and soothing after a long day of work. And I just want Mercenaries to come out.
Yeah,
I
we're
really do.
About 3 weeks until Mercenaries. I am
Chomping.
very excited for that as well because I am taking that whole week of vacation to play some Mercenaries.
Yeah, we got so by the time you listen to this on the download, it's more like 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm trying to make it happen faster. So I'm thinking a couple days ahead. Yeah, I plan to take that 13th off so I can record some content, and I'm probably just gonna jump in and play and record it, and then maybe do some voiceover and get Avanties to do some editing afterwards, instead of trying to make videos out the gate, which never seems to be the best way to do anything. So I'm really excited for Mercenaries. A lot of members of our community are starting to get excited for Mercenaries. Fortunately, from listening to our Mercenaries episode, that helped them kind of know more about that type of game and what's to come. Also, meanwhile, we have Trump and Crip and Slissa all made gameplay videos where they got to go in and access the tutorial and even some PvP early, and that's really starting to hype people up. So I know in the past we've been really critical. I say we, the community, not really so much us as a show. The community has been really critical about key content creators getting early access to something and being able to play it before we get to play it. But in this case with Mercenaries, they should have done that. They should have had somebody like Crip or Trump or Slissa go on to that showcase and demo us the tutorial and walk us through these things that they're doing now. I think the community would have accepted it more. And I also think using the term gacha in the original survey has hurt them, because sure, it's a gacha mechanic when it comes to sales and stuff, but gacha has such a negative connotation.
Do you think it would have been better if they had pitched it as a mobile style RPG instead of using the word gacha?
I think it would have been great for them to market it as a hero battler.
Well, isn't that what Battlegrounds is considered as an auto battler?
It's an auto battler. This is the reason I see this as a hero battler is because games like Marvel Strike Force market theirs as a hero battler. So you're leveling up these heroes, these characters, and then you're putting them into battle to accomplish various goals, missions, whatever the content is that they're going. In this case, it's bounties, but not an auto battler, because that's. And I've heard some criticism that they don't like that Mercenaries is an auto battle system. It's not really an auto battle. It's a queued battle. You queue up the actions, and then they fight on their own.
I almost think of it as more of a tactics style
Yeah.
game, because you choose all of your actions at the beginning of the turn, and then they unfold in real
And,
time.
and to be truthful, I think this is one of the hardest parts with Mercenaries is categorizing it,
Mm-hmm.
because honestly, when you look at all the mechanisms they've used to create this unique game mode, or however you want to call it, Mercenaries doesn't fall under one classification. It's got so many different aspects from various different types of games that it's almost became its own genre.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm excited about. The fact that it's so unique that it's got elements of things like Darkest Dungeon, Slay the Spire. It's got elements of Raid Shadow Legends. It's got elements of Pokemon Go. So that's pretty much for the next couple weeks. I'm going to be probably a minimalist in Hearthstone, just saving my energy for Mercenaries.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like I've said multiple times. I don't stream very often, but I'm probably gonna stream quite a bit the week Mercenaries comes out, and
I probably won't stream just because streaming causes a lot of stress to me when something new comes out,
mm-hmm.
and I don't get to enjoy it. I'm probably just going to turn my OBS on and
record locally.
Hit record and just see what becomes of it.
Okay, that's not a terrible idea. So, but we do have a little bit of news to talk about this week. Before we get into that, though, I want to welcome a new patron to Hero Power.
Just happened. We didn't even get into the show notes because I just noticed it right before we hit record.
Yeah, and that is Marspad. You guys have heard of him. He's sent emails to the show in the past, and he decided to take that plunge and join us in the patron-only Discord that you too can be a member of for as little as $1 a month. And we are super excited to have him join us.
Yeah, and I want to remind people that our patron, to be part of the Discord, we just ask people to become a patron. And a lot of that doesn't have anything to do with the income of the Patreon. We want to make sure the people in our Discord want to be in that Discord. And we don't get things like trolls and people just joining every free Discord they can. We want quality members that are going to contribute to the community. And it's only $1 a month. We don't do it per episode. It's just $1 a month, the minimum there, and you get to be part of the experience with us.
That's right. So, all right. All that said, a few days ago, they released the new patch 21.3.
Yes.
This was a pretty extensive patch. I think we briefly touched on some ideas of what it might be last week, but this week we finally know the cards that were changed, and we're going to go through that tonight with you. We're going to touch on some of these changes and how we feel they might affect the meta going forward.
It's a huge patch.
It is a rather large patch. So,
YUGE, huge.
We're going to start with the standard and wild updates. So the following cards have been adjusted down in power level. I like how they don't like to use the word nerf.
Yeah.
So first up is the Demon Hunter minion Irebound Brute. So the Irebound Brute is a demon with taunt. Costs 1 less for each card drawn this turn. It's a 6/7 minion. It used to cost 7 mana. It now costs 8 mana. So they raised the mana cost by 1. And the dev comment says Irebound Brute was playable just a bit earlier than intended on average. Pushing it back a turn should soften extreme turns. We played this deck a few weeks ago, didn't we, Zerotio? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about this change? Do you think this is going to affect how we see Demon Hunter in the meta?
I think, and we're already seeing kind of a change where the quest demon hunter is becoming more of a quest lifesteal demon hunter. They're kind of merging the two uh, types, and Irebound Brute is still in that deck. Now, its win rate is not all that stellar, but it's a fairly polarizing deck. One thing that Ridiculous Hat so famously said, I think it was on the Vicious Syndicate podcast, or could have been Coin Concede, or could have been Danger Chicken, because he's on all of those. But
on,
what he
on
said,
one of the 40 podcasts, Ridiculous Hats could have said.
what he said while wearing the Infinity Gauntlet of podcasts, what he said was, when you saw screenshots of Quest Demon Hunter, they weren't showing screenshots of this really early lethal push. They were showing screenshots of a board filled with Irebound Brutes on like turns 4.
Yes.
So the Irebound Brute is what made that deck feel bad to play against. Now, it didn't have a great win rate. I think the total win rate of that deck was peaked around 47-48% overall. But this card going from 7 to 8 is really going to dramatically change those boards. Now, they may still happen on turn 5 or 6, but at that point of the game, a lot of decks can find a way to recover from that. But unlike turn 4, it's almost impossible to recover from having 3 or 4 Irebound Brutes on the board.
Yeah. I think this is gonna help a little bit, but we'll help slow it down a little bit anyway. Give other decks a bit of a chance to get in there and fight. So next up, we see a change to Mindrender Ellucia. So just a refresher, Mindrender Ellucia was a 3-mana 1/3 battle cry. Swap hands and decks with your opponent until your next turn. So what they have changed is the battle cry. The battle cry now says replace your hand with a copy of your opponent's until next turn. So, one of the big things here was with Mindrender Ellucia, you could take your opponent's hand, play any of their key cards that they had, and then give them their hand back minus those cards. Now you can't do that. Now you get a copy of their hand, and you play those cards, but they still have access to those key cards. Is this the change that players have been clamoring for Priest?
I think so. And see, the scenario you said was not the reason why this change needed to happen. Because that was actually a healthy form of disruption, because you still had to figure out a way to play those cards out of their hand before they got their hand back. What caused this change to be needed was in Shadow Priest, you would dump your hand because everything's low costed, except for the Mindrender Ellucia. Then you would play Mindrender Ellucia, giving your opponent no hand, and anything they draw on that turn is not going to deal with the minions on your board. Basically, giving you it was a time warp for Priest. Basically, it was just like Time Warp, which was a quest reward from Mage that was highly played.
Yeah,
so,
I remember that. 1 blue, 2 colorless.
Yeah, wrong Time Warp. But yes, same concept. Same concept is making your opponent skip their turn and do nothing. Not only feels bad, it's super overpowered. And a lot of times the success of Shadow Priest was keyed on whether they got Ellucia on that key turn that was setting up for a 2-turn lethal. Because if you were able to deal with that board, then Shadow Priest kind of dies off because they have no cards left in their hand. But if they have a board full of minions, play Mindrender Ellucia, giving you no way to deal with those minions, they get to attack and then attack the following turn. So it's very devastating. It was a very devastating way to play Ellucia. I am kind of sad that there's not that disruption element. And I worry that this means they're not going to print hand disruption cards like Mindrender Ellucia in the future, because I think that's a style of play I like. But in the way it was used, I don't think Mindrender Ellucia was bad in design. I think it was used poorly with Shadow Priest. I wish there was a better way to have changed the card so it couldn't be used with Shadow Priest. But if you
All I'm
bump them,
saying is I'm pretty sure I heard reports of Hearthstone Grandmaster Luna Love running through the streets screaming, "Ding dong, the witch is dead."
that's true. Luna she's definitely excited that Ellucia is finally gone. I do wish they would have reverted Mindrender Ellucia back to 2 mana, because originally she was 2 mana 1/3. I think at 2 mana with the new battle cry, there would be some use cases with it. But unfortunately, you know, at 3 mana, that's just too much investment, because then you don't have any mana to do anything with your opponent's cards.
All right, next up is one of my personal favorites, one of my favorite new cards in the Shaman class, and that is Perpetual Flame. So, Perpetual Flame was a 1 mana, deal 3 damage to a random enemy minion. If it dies, recast this, overload 1. So basically, they took the mana cost up 1, so it's now a 2 mana spell. And basically, the dev comments were Perpetual Flame is a very efficient removal tool for Questline Shaman. Going up 1 mana here will give board-based decks a better shot against Shaman in the early and mid games. I've found this card to just absolutely be clutch at times in games. And I think, I kind of agree with the dev comment that I think this is going to allow other decks to kind of hang on a little better in that mid game by taking this up 1 mana. I still think this card is really good, and I still think it's very playable at 2. What do you think, Zerotio?
It's very playable. Unfortunately, it doesn't have that timing mechanism that makes it so good. Before, you kind of just coast along, don't do anything until turn 3. If your opponent was an aggressive deck, they play a bunch of minions on 3. Then on 3, you novice, and then maybe another overload card, and then you finish it off with Perpetual Flame, killing their entire board and overloading pretty much all your mana crystals. But because you're on the first part of the quest, all those mana crystals get unlocked. So it was like a free way to deal with an early board without any real punishment. And on 2 mana, it's going to be less likely to be able to pull that perfect curve off to be able to finish on Perpetual Flame.
Okay. All right.
So I do think it's playable still, but the overall control mechanism of the deck goes down quite a bit in the early game that it needs. And a note, and we'll be talking about this card probably quite a bit this episode, you can't get this off Wand Maker anymore.
Correct.
Which is relevant.
Yeah. All right, next up, we actually have the Shaman quest line itself, Command the Elements. Of this, the Tame the Flames, which is the 3rd part of the quest line, has been changed. It used to be play 2 cards with Overload. Now it's play 3 cards with Overload. So they basically slowed the completion time of the quest line down just a little bit. Do you think that's enough to really make a difference, Zerotio?
This isn't relevant at all, because most of the time with the Shaman quest line, it's the first 2 stages that are important. Unlocking the mana crystals and getting the 3/3 on top of whatever other minions you play that turn, or getting the 3/3 taunt minion while also dealing with their board. One of the 2. And very seldom did you actually ever play Brucon, and that's what decided you winning the game. If you played Brucon, you were probably going to win anyways.
Yeah.
So there were very few matchups that playing Brucon decided your match. Delaying Brucon coming out by 1 extra card, to me, it's kind of irrelevant.
Okay. Next up, we have the most controversial card in united in Stormwind, and that is the Warlock quest line, the Demon Seed. So this card had substantial changes made to it. First up, the Demon Seed, part 1 of the quest line, used to be take 6 damage on your turn, reward lifesteal, deal 3 damage. Now it's take 8 damage on your turn, reward lifesteal, deal 3 damage. Then establish the link, which is part 2 of the quest line, used to be take 7 damage on your turns. It's now take 8 damage on your turns. And so basically they took part 1 up 2 mana, part 2 up 1 mana, so that they're both 8 mana to complete. And they ban Demon Seed in Wild.
Yeah, so let's talk about Wild first. The fact that this change was not going to be enough that they made for Standard to impact Wild, that they thought they needed to just ban it in Wild. And they did say while they're banning it in Wild, once it rotates out of Standard, they're going to look at redesigning the card to be more balanced and useful in Wild. So the entire quest line may totally change to something totally different once it rotates out in 2 years, or a little over a year and a half or so.
Yeah, 2 years.
So that's big. This is the second ban of a card in Wild, and both of those cards
are
Warlock cards.
Yeah.
I know the Wild community is very, very, very vocal about needing more focus on balance in Wild, and Team 5 has openly said Wild is supposed to be just that, Wild, and they only plan on intervening with balance changes for specifically Wild cards when things are literally broken, and Warlock has been broken for a while.
Yeah.
So this is good change for Wild. For Standard, changing the breakpoints to 8 each, which is a total of 24 health. That's 24 of your 30 health.
Yep.
With a total of 6 health life gain from that. So essentially, 24 minus 6 is 18. You're investing 18 health into finishing this.
Time to figure out what you can remove for additional health gain.
That's pretty big ask, especially since the curve isn't there anymore. It used to be you play Demon Seed on 1, you tap on 2, you tap play Tour Guide on 3, and then you tap for free on turn 4, and then you complete the quest and still have mana to start the next step of the quest. Now you really can't do that curve. You're not going to get done with the first part of the quest till probably turn 5 or 6, depending how aggressive your opponent is, if you have to deal with the board. I do think Demon Seed is still going to be playable. You're just got to be more creative with your deck building, and so far nobody that I've seen has found that yet. But we're only less than a week into it, so who knows?
Yeah. All right, next up we have Runed Mithril Rod. So this is the Warlock profession tool. That's the word. I can never remember that. I just want to call them weapons. So it's the Warlock.
They are weapons.
Yeah, it's a 0/2. After you draw 4 cards, reduce the cost of cards in your hand by 1, lose 1 durability. That was 3 mana. So basically what they've done is they've raised the mana cost of this up to 4. So it kind of slows it down a turn. And, do you think this is going to make a big difference on this card, Zerotio?
Do I think it makes a big difference on the card? Yes. Do I think it makes a big difference on the deck? No. It's pretty much been found out by a few people, also one Mad at Arms, that cutting Rune Mithril Rod from your hand lock and putting another hand synergy card in its place, or board clear in its, whatever your flavor of card is, whether you want to be more control-y or whatever you want to do. The deck is still good, and in some cases even better than it was. So maybe putting Rune Mithril Rod in your hand, Warlock, was the wrong call from the beginning. Because if you cut it now and you replace it with another card and it performs better than it did when it was at 3 mana, then maybe it was the worst card in the deck and didn't need to be nerfed in the first place?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe.
So, because Handlock's doing really well post balance change.
Yeah. All right, so that does it for all the nerfs. Next up, the following cards have been adjusted up in power, meaning they were buffed. First up, we have the Hunter Profession tool, the Leatherworking Kit. It was a 2-mana, 0/3. After 3 friendly beasts die, draw a beast and give it +1/+1. Lose 1 durability. That has now been adjusted down in 1 mana cost, so it goes from 2 mana to 1 mana. So was this card just not being played enough because of where it was at 2 mana? Do we think this is going to... Well, we're playing Beast Hunter this week. Are you seeing a big difference here, Zerotio, in your playtesting?
I think it's not just this card, but a combination of this card along with some of the other changes they made are going to make Beast Hunter the way to play. And it's right now it's not got the greatest win rate globally on HS Replay, but I think it's going to start trending up because I'm really enjoying the deck. And while Quest Hunter and Face Hunter are probably a little better results-wise, this wins matchups that those decks have trouble with. And I'll be honest, when I get Leatherworking Kit on 1, I dominate those games. And I suspect in a future patch, we're going to see Leatherworking Kit go from a 1 mana 0/3 to a 1 mana 0/2.
Okay.
Now, often it doesn't get all 3 durability knocked off before I either overwrite it or I win the game. So I don't think it needs a 3rd durability. But if I do use all 3 durability, I win that game.
Okay.
I had one game where I ended up getting 5 Rat Kings on the board. And Leatherworking Kit was one of the reasons for that.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have another Hunter card, and that is Selective Breeder. So this card was a 2-mana, 1/1 battle cry. Discover a copy of a beast in your deck. It's going to a 2-mana, 1/3. So it's getting +2 health here. Now, I've not played a lot of Hunters, Zerotio, so are you seeing this being more effective now in the meta?
I see it more effective, but honestly, that 2 health in most cases really doesn't do anything. And I think we should have been playing this card all along as a 2-mana 1/1 because it discovers a copy of a beast. Mm-hmm. So you pick a beast out of 3 choices out of your deck. You pick one. You get a copy of it. That other beast stays in your deck still.
Correct.
Which is why I was able to get 5 Rat Kings on the board. So yeah, this is a good card. And there were a couple occasions where they had a 1/2 on board, and I was able to trade into it on turn 3, and they still had to deal with a 1/1. So there were very rare occasions where the 1/3 mattered, but in most cases, I was just using it to clear off a minion that it probably would have died to anyways, or they cleared it with a minion. It didn't matter what the health would have been. Mm-hmm. So it's a good change. I like it. I'm loving Selective Breeder. It's so good.
All right. Next up, we have what I think is one of the biggest buffs in this patch because it's brought back an entire archetype of deck, and that is Wildfire. So, Wildfire was a 2 mana, increase the damage of your hero power by 1. It's now 1 mana, increase the damage of your hero power by 1. And as you stated earlier, this can be found off of One Maker now.
Yeah, and you're so I think there's, I could be wrong, 7 1-mana mage spells, if I'm not mistaken.
That sounds about right.
So, you're getting a 3 out of 7 chance to get this into your hand with One Maker. Pretty good odds, almost 50%. And it happens more times than you would think. Well, wait, it's not discover. It's random, isn't it?
Yes, it is random.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's a 1 in 7 chance.
I keep getting it mixed up with like Scorpion. So yeah, it's a 1 in 7. Still not terrible. Less than a 10% chance to get it. And it happens more often than you would think. I did play a little bit of the Hero Power Mage. I think the build... So 2 things about the Hero Power Mage. I think the build isn't perfect yet. And second, it's very dependent on the meta. If the meta is not a bunch of small minion-based decks, then it doesn't do very well. But if the minion is a lot of small minion-based, which is right now. Now, a lot of small minion-based decks are being successful. I'm looking at HS Replay right now, and the best deck at 54% win rate is Aggro Druid. The problem is the second best class is Paladin, and they have Divine Shields, which doesn't do well against the Hero Power Mage.
So I will admit that the very first deck I built after this patch went live was Hero Power Mage.
Me too. That was my first deck as well, before I found the Hunter.
So, and I've been having a blast with it. So, all right. To couple with the Wildfire, we also saw a change to Mordrish Fire Eye. So you guys remember this was the 10 mana 10/10 legendary battle cry. If you've dealt 10 damage with your hero power this game, deal 10 damage to all enemies. So at 10 mana, we were playing this card in Hero Power Mage, even back when it first came out. What was that, 2 expansions ago?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, it was Barons, wasn't it?
I think it might have. Okay, maybe it was last expansion.
So an expansion and a mini set ago.
Yeah. So now they've adjusted it from a 10 mana 10/10 to an 8 mana 8/8, but it still does 10 damage to all enemies if you've dealt 10 damage with your hero power.
Yeah, it's strong. You can Potion of Illusion this easier now with 1 mana biscuit. Though a lot of your decks started that way, but they've cut the Potions of Illusions because they say if you have a chance to Potion of Illusion your Mordrish, you're winning anyways, and so that's just a win more.
Yeah, I saw Dexter do a breakdown of this, and he was saying the reason he was cutting it was because you had an almost even chance of discovering it off of something as opposed to running it in the deck. And if you have, it would be better to discover Potion of Illusion than to hard run a Potion of Illusion.
That's true. Also, most of the time when I played this version before the big change, before this balance change, I had Potion Illusion in my deck, not for using it with Mordrish. I used them with I think it's the Reckless Apprentice.
Yeah. I'm running Reckless Apprentice in mine too.
And there were a few other minions in there that I would use the Potion Illusion with to get more of those minions. I wouldn't actually use it with the Mordrish. So I think if I was to build the deck again, I would probably put the potions back in, but I would take the mana biscuits out.
Okay.
because I don't really need to worry about using the potion illusion for Mordrish. I want to use it for the other tools that just stack the damage up and deal with more board clears.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. We have a warrior pirate minion, the Stormwind Freebooter. It was a 3 mana 3/3. It's now going to be a 3 mana 3/4. Battle Cry stays the same. They're just giving it +1 health. And that kind of seems to be the theme across these other pirates. Let's just go ahead and talk about them as well. Stonemaul Anchorman was a 5 mana 4/5 with Rush and Frenzy. It's now going to be a 5 mana 4/6. So again, +1 health. And the Bloodsail Deckhand was a 1 mana 2/1. It's now going to be a 1 mana 2/2. So 3 pivotal warrior pirate minions all getting +1 health. What are your thoughts on these 3 minions together, Zerotio?
This just makes sense. And I've been seeing a lot of the Questline Pirate Warriors being played. And the Questline Pirate Warrior for Standard right now plays much differently than Pirate Warrior in Wild does or did during its heyday. This is more of a tempo-based deck. It's not control and it's not aggro. It's very tempo. And having a 3 mana 3/4 allows you to make those trades and keep a small health minion on the board that your opponent has to deal with, usually giving you a 2-for-1 trade. Maybe even 3-for-1, depending on whether you can ship that 2 damage that it gives you off the battle cry to clear a minion.
Mm-hmm.
The Anchorman can clear large minions easier now while staying alive. It can clear a 5/4 and still have its frenzy go off, and then has to be dealt with. And there's a lot of people that are kind of sleeping on the fact that a 1 mana 2/2 historically has just been really, really good in the meta. What is the Raven from Druid was a 1 mana 2/2 and
Correct.
was played very, very frequently.
All the time, yeah.
All the time. So you got a 1 mana 2/2 then reduces the cost of your next weapon. This makes that deck better at tempo, which is what it wants to do. My question is tempo good in this meta right now? And I think the answer is no. So you might want to revisit this. So Cora tweeted before we knew any of the cards from the set, saying that the Warrior quest line, she was actually playtesting it with cards for sets in 2022, next year's sets, and that it was so good. So that hyped everybody up, saying, oh, it must be awesome if she's still playing it after those sets. It might be that those sets foster a tempo gameplay that isn't fostered in the current meta or the meta in this entire year. So this might just be kind of a preemptive buff to make sure that when tempo is strong, this deck kind of sits on top of the roost. So we'll have to see. I am seeing it played right now, but it's not terribly successful. It's not terrible. It's sitting at around a 52% win rate, according to HS Replay in the Legend category. So we'll just have to see where it fleshes out. And when you look at the meta breakdown in HS Replay, trying to see if the Pirate Warrior is even. Yeah, it's sitting at tier 2 when you're looking at just Legend at a 51.03 overall win rate for Pirate Warrior. So it's good. It's a good tier 2 deck. There's only 3 tier 1 decks right now. So maybe it just needs the mini set. Maybe maybe the meta just needs to shift some. We'll just have to see.
Yeah. All right, so that takes us into Battlegrounds updates. We're we won't
There's a
go.
lot of Battlegrounds updates.
There
We're
is
probably just going
a
to
lot.
refer everybody to the show notes on this one. There's a lot of changes.
Yeah, a lot of. We'll just real quickly hero updates to Shutterwalk, Galewing, and Master Win. And then you had minion updates to Impatient Doomseer, Catherine Natir, the demon. You had updates to Leapfrogger. My son was very distraught that they killed the monstrous macaw. So then you had
because it now triggers another friendly minion's death rattle, so it can't trigger its own death rattle that has the Leapfrogger ability.
right, because he had gotten one up to like 6.3 million health.
Yeah, it was pretty sick.
It was crazy. So then you had changes to Reanimating Rattler, Whelp Smuggler, Impulsive Trickster, Master of Realities, Peggy Brittlebone, Gold Grubber, Salty Looter, Prophet of the Boar, Road Boar, Bristleback Brute, Dynamic Duo, and good old Charlga. So
yeah, they're making
of updates.
They're trying to make Quillbore a good standalone tribe, where right now it's kind of just used as a support tribe to support whatever other tribe you're using. And Charlga is actually a reversion. They had nerfed Charlga to, at the end of your turn, play a blood gem on all other friendly minions.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've changed it back to, at the end of your turn, play a blood gem on all friendly minions, which includes Charlga. So that is, to me, is out of all the Quillbore changes, that's the most impactful.
Yeah. So.
And then beyond that, we have some duels updates and arena updates. Arena is mainly just adjusting some of the cards offered. And then lots of bug fixes and game improvements, especially with crashing and the friends list bugs, and a weird one where Maestra of Masquerade was masquerading as Rogue.
Yeah.
For some reason, and which is funny because when you play a Rogue card, your Rogue portrait would go away and then come back. Like worst disguise ever. So a lot of other really good bugs that were kind of disruptive.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad they were able to get to those bugs, because this has been the buggiest year of releases. But again, they're putting the most in the client, so I can kind of forgive them for that.
Right. All right. So
So I got a question.
Okay.
So we just got the 21.3 patch, and we know that in a little over 2 weeks, we're going to get the patch for Mercenaries on October the 12th. Now, we were kind of wondering when the mini set would drop, because we don't have a lot of wiggle room, and we're past the time where usually a mini set drops 2 months after the set releases, which I think would have been early September. In a I can't remember what announcement it was.
It was in the patch notes that we went over last week.
Previous patch notes. Okay.
The previous
They mentioned that the mini set was going to be short at the next patch after the Mercenaries release.
Yes.
So if the Mercenaries release is October 12th, when do we think that next patch is going to hit?
So I think it's safe to say if they drop on the 12th, they probably will not do another major patch the following week, which would be the 19th. I think the earliest you could see another big patch drop would probably be 2 weeks after the Mercenaries patch, which at the earliest means we might see the mini set somewhere around the 26th of October or the 2nd of November.
So that brings me to my next question. When do we see the next set? Because historically, they do it about a month out of BlizzCon, which puts it about, the beginning of December.
Correct.
First week of December. However, obviously, we don't have a BlizzCon this year. And they've been bumping up the release dates by about a month each. which would mean we would normally see the set beginning May 1st or second week of November.
That would be normally the case, but I mean, we saw United in Stormwind drop the first week of August, which was right about when previous third sets have dropped. So I still think we're on target to see that next set drop early December. Possibly, let's look at the calendar here. Possibly somewhere around the 9th. No, that's November. Hang on. Somewhere around the 7th of December. I think we could see it drop somewhere around Pearl Harbor Day.
I just worry about, because if we do get the mini set on the 26th, we've been historically seeing every 2 weeks some form of patch. So we'll probably see a Battlegrounds change that might include some Mercenaries adjustments. While they say they won't do a lot of balance adjustments for Mercenaries, they will do patches for Mercenaries to fix certain interactions that aren't working right. So we'll probably see that, I'd say maybe the 9th of November. Mm-hmm. And then we usually have another, I guess the 23rd.
That would give you about 3 to 4 weeks to do
4 weeks, yeah,
card reveals and pump up the next set. I think that's a realistic timeline.
Because we get the pre-patch on the 30th or maybe the 2nd, because sometimes they do those pre-patches on Thursdays. Mm-hmm. Man, there's just so much content in Hearthstone now. It's like every 2 weeks we have something new.
Yeah, and that's great.
I mean, so the old me that only had a 40-hour a week work schedule, who would have been like, remember, yeah, that's great.
Old you, 40-hour a week work schedule, you used to complain about how stale the meta was and how stale the game was all the time.
Not all the time, but at certain peak points of the meta, yes. So maybe it's just weird because now that I don't get to play as much, I feel like I don't have time to play. Like, because there's so much to do with Hearthstone, traditional Hearthstone, as I guess everybody's calling it, Battlegrounds, and then now Mercenaries coming up. I used to dip my toes in duels, and now I really don't have time for that. I mean, it's a good time for Hearthstone, but man, I'm getting tired.
Finally time for old 40-hour a week Zerotio who ground the ladder to legend every month to hang up his ladder spurs and focus on other things?
I think the answer to that's yes. And I don't like that answer. But I used to be able to, I grind legend in standard, then I grind it in wild, and then I would push hard in other modes and battlegrounds, and now I don't have the time for that, and I'm probably gonna have to pick something to do. Mm-hmm. And I don't like it. Because I want to do all the things in Hearthstone. But if Mercenaries meets my expectations, and even if it doesn't meet my full expectations, I'm probably going to play more Mercenaries than Ladder. Yeah. And a lot of that is because I think the bounties won't take very long. I can do them on breaks at work or sitting on the throne mm-hmm. at work, going to the bathroom or sitting in my car right before I go into my shift at FedEx for 15 minutes, or sitting at home completely wiped out. I can pop up my phone and do a bounty. I can't really play Hearthstone that way. So maybe Mercenaries is gonna be my new main, and I go back to being a Diamond 5 player. Because even at 9-star bonus, I got to Diamond 5, I think, on day 2.
Yeah.
Because it happened to hit on a weekend.
Right.
And so it's not really hard to get Diamond 5. It's just that final push to Legend. I just don't have the time. So yeah, I think that may be my focus is gonna have to change, and I don't like it. uh, well, we'll just have to see.
All right. Well, there you go. You heard it here first, folks. All right.
Yeah,
Let's talk about this deck that we've been hinting at today.
yeah,
We are looking at Beast Hunter, and
yes,
you have this deck tentatively titled the FunkiMonki.
yeah. FunkiMonki is a content creator and player,
Okay.
and this is his design of this Beast Hunter deck, and it is my favorite version, mainly because it has Shando Wildclaw in it,
Mm-hmm.
and it actually uses the Rat King. And most of the versions I'm seeing have the Rat King and Zixor in it, but this has Northshire Farmer and Shando Wildclaw in it. Go ahead and go over the deck, and we'll talk about it a little bit.
Okay. So yeah, this deck list consists of 2 copies of Devouring Swarm, 2 Adorable Infestations, 2 Leatherworking Kit, 2 Resizing Pouch, 2 Tracking, 2 Wolpertinger, 2 Wound Prey, 2 Encumbered Pack Mule, 2 Scavenger's Ingenuity, 2 Selective Breeder, 2 Kolkar Pack Runner, 2 Northshire Farmers. Then you have your 1 Shando Wildclaw, 1 Zixor Apex Predator, 1 Ringling's Rifle, 2 Warsong Wranglers, and as you've alluded, 1 copy of the Rat King.
Oh, I didn't allude. It's in there. I'd say it was in there, and it is probably the most impactful card in the deck. The fact that you can play the Rat King, trade it into something, and then eventually it revives again. And a lot of the problem with a card like Shando Wildclaw is you have a specific minion you want to copy, so you have to make sure you have enough mana to play that minion and then play Shando Wildclaw.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you don't have to have that in this deck. You just play the Rat King, and then when you know you're going to revive the Rat King by trading in minions, play Shando Wildclaw to target the Rat King, and now you have 2 rushing 5/5 minions.
Okay.
It's so strong. And then on top of that, you got the Northshire Farmer, same thing. You trade in minions to revive your Rat King, and then you play the Northshire Farmer to shuffle 3 Rat Kings, 3/3 Rat Kings into your deck. And then you can play a Warsong Wrangler to find one of those 3/3 Rat Kings, turning it into a 5/4, and all the other ones into 5/4, and any other copies that are in your deck, if you have more copies because of Selective Breeder, where you found a Rat King but you still have a Rat King in your deck, they go up to 7/6s. And even when those 3/3 Rat Kings die, they come back as 5/5s.
Mm-hmm.
When they come out of dormant. So you got to be careful. You don't want to fill your board with too many Rat Kings, or they won't. You won't have them revive. You need to keep a slot open to keep trading minions out with. But a lot of times you can get those Rat Kings where they kill a Rat King and it revives a Rat King. They kill that Rat King, it revives the next Rat King, and it's just endless Rat Kings. They can never get rid of the Rat Kings because they're constantly cycling.
Right.
That's where I got 5 on the board, and every time they killed one, it revived the other one.
Well, I'm very much
devastating.
looking forward. Like you've talked this deck up to me since even before, during pre-show. So I just built it. I have not had a chance to play it, but I am very much looking forward to seeing you play it so that I can get some ideas on exactly how this plays out in real time.
Yeah, and I can't say I'm an expert with deck, but I'm 6-0 with it so far, and I hope we have games similar to what I was playing before the show today.
Okay.
Because they were some good games, and my opponents would just rope all the way out and then finally concede.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for us. If you're joining us on YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via the audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. And you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at heropowerhs.com. If you enjoy the show, you'd like to help support and improve it as Marspad has done, you can do so by joining our Patreon over at patreon.com/heropower. And we'll see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power to activate Mordrish.
Alrighty, so we are in our play mode already, since we were doing the visual presentation of the card changes. So I am ready to go as soon as you are ready to find a worthy opponent.
I am spinning that wheel as we speak.
Okay, looks like you have found one. I am fighting the spectate boss.
You have defeated the
hey,
boss.
You see the pop-up bar there that came across said positioning heroes. That's going to be important in Mercenaries.
Okay, so we got a mage.
Yes.
This can be a tough matchup, especially if they can get the devolving missiles.
Okay. So what are we looking for in our opening hand?
We really want to get the Leatherworking Kit.
Okay.
And honestly, I think I'm going to throw all of this back. The Warstrong Wrangler is tempting, but I think we want to get early minions.
Since we're on the coin?
Yeah, the problem with... I want to get the Warstrong Wrangler after I've played a Selective Breeder.
Okay.
So I think we keep it since we're throwing all the other three back and hope we can get at least a Selective Breeder.
Okay.
So yeah, let's keep the Warstrong Wrangler. Because Warsong Wrangler into the Rat King, and we drew the second Warsong Wrangler.
Ooh,
that's kind of...
That's, yeah, rough.
This is not a great hand. Because Devouring Swarm is not going to be... Well, it's not terrible because... if you notice, they didn't play quests. So this is probably not the quest for the no minion version.
You think this is Hero Power Wildfire Mage?
I believe it is. And there's a lot of minions in that deck, so we might be able to use things like Wound Prey and Devouring Swarm. That's fine. So. Encumbered Pack Mule.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Do we just trot that out?
I think we just trot that out. Let him work on it.
Because unless he plays another Wildfire, it'll take 2 shots. Oh, there's Mancrick. Okay. Do we Adorable Infestation, Wound Prey, and...
I think we coin out the Wrangler and try to hit the other Encumbered Pack Mule.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that. Warsong Wrangler. We didn't get the other Encumbered Pack Mule. But we can...
Zixor?
We can. I was thinking Zixor. We could get Rat King now, but Zixor is a play for next turn. I'd like to keep the Rat King in there for if we get Selective Breeder.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go with Zixor. I think we... What do you think about Swinging Face and then playing Devouring Swarm?
I don't hate it.
It will clear our Mule, but it'll leave us a 3-1.
Yeah.
Because you attack in order that they were in play. So the Mule attacks first and then the Wrangler. And he might... And see, that gives us another Pack Mule into our hands. So
Right.
We're probably going to Wrangler again.
Firebrand, okay.
That's interesting.
Oh, we drew the Rat King.
Yeah, I mean... There could be worse. Oh, now we can do Rat King alongside Northshire Farmers. There's lots of ways to get more Rat Kings in the deck.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world. Do we Zixor into the Firebrand?
I don't hate that.
And then maybe follow it up with a Wound Prey onto the tour guide?
The tour guide, yeah. That's fine. That'll leave us with a 4/2 Zixor.
And a 1/1.
Yeah, and a 1/1.
I really like the Wound Praise for when I have Leatherworking Kit, but we haven't drawn the Leatherworking Kit, so
that's going to clear our board.
that's fine. I think we Rat King into that.
I think so too.
Oh wow, Devouring Swarm's a good draw for later. Rat King he's going to ping off the Rat King, but then it puts us in a position to revive the Rat King later with a combination of Kolkar, Pack Runner, and spells, and then follow it up with a Northshire Farmer or Shando Wildclaw, if we can get that drawn.
Second Wildfire.
So he's up to 3 damage. Northshire Farmer.
So,
What do you think about Kolkar into Instorable Infestation on the Kolkar and then a Pack Mule?
Yeah, I don't hate that.
That puts minions into the board to start dying.
Yeah.
For Rat King to be revived. So we're gonna play the Pack. Do we buff Kolkar or do we buff the Pack Mule?
Well, he can straight hero power the Pack Mule.
So we buff the Pack Mule then.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would take hero power and something else to kill the Kolkar.
He's already used 1 Reckless Apprentice, and now we have 4 minions. If he clears the board, then we're only 1 minion away.
Varden Dawn Grasp, okay.
Okay.
Watch Post.
So we can deal with the Watch Post. We can Devouring Swarm, and they conceded.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. This is usually what I run into. They realize that this Rat King's just going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
And there's no silences in the meta, and Devouring Swarm's not being main decked in most mage decks or even Shamans right now. So they realize that they're never going to be able to stop dealing with the board, and they're adding fuel to the fire. I mean, they have 2 cards in their hands, and we have a handful of cards, basically.
Exactly. All right.
That's usually I will see opponents concede way before I have even a semblance of lethal.
Right.
It's so weird. That's the type of games I've been dealing with all day today, is people just conceding really early.
And this deck's not terribly expensive at 9,000 dust. I mean, it's got 4 legendaries in it.
It's expensive. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's expensive. But you don't necessarily need the Shando. You could probably do without the Zixor. The Rat King's the only one I would say you really need. Even the Rinling's not that, important.
Up against another hunter here.
Selective Breeder in the opening hand is great. I think we just keep the Selective Breeder and we dig for
a Leatherworking Kit with the other 2. Kit. Okay.
Yeah. And Selective Breeder, I almost always grab Rat King if I get the option for Rat King.
Yeah.
Because that just gives you 2 Rat Kings in the deck.
Do we tracking here?
Normally tracking on 1 isn't that good, but I want to try to see if I can dig for the Leatherworking Kit.
Right.
So I'm going to tracking. I don't want to take Rat King, but I will take the Zixor.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
For a turn 3 play. Zixor is not that important to copy. I mean, it's good if you can copy it, but it's not that pivotal. This is Face Hunter. I haven't played against Face Hunter.
Okay.
So I think we select a breeder.
Yep. Rat King.
So we got us a turn 3 play.
Yep.
Probably make us a turn 4 play.
Well, if we don't draw anything, we've got the Pack Mule, Adorable Infestation, and Resizing Pouch.
And I love the Rat King's golden animation. He's got that juicy stripping. A second imprisoned Felmall.
Okay.
So if we Zixor here, we don't have anything to run into.
That's correct.
But if we encumbered Pack Mule and
Adorable infestation, it gives more targets for the imprisoned Felmall that's about to pop.
Exactly. So let's. So my question's this: do we infestation the Pack Mule, or
I think you infestation the Breeder.
That way, either one he hits does 2 damage to it.
Correct, and you're going to do 2 damage to his face this turn.
Yeah. Hopefully it hits the Breeder, and we soften it. Then we can trade in with the Zixor. That goes face, right?
I think it has to, right?
Doesn't have to, but it's optimal. So we're gonna Zixor.
Zixor, and then do we Wolpertinger?
No. I think we resizing pouch.
Okay.
And what the resizing pouch is gonna do is it's gonna either give us a Devouring Swarm or the Poison Bloom.
Okay.
Or Serpent Bloom.
Serpent Bloom.
So we got Serpent Bloom. So we can trade Zixor into the 2/3. And then trade the Breeder into a 1/1, and then Poison Bloom on the Cub to trade into the Felmall.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I'm wondering if it's more beneficial to Poison Bloom the Zixor and keep it alive, so hopefully the other Imprisoned Felmall hits it. Yeah, let's do that instead. So
okay.
Breeder into the 5/2, Zixor into the 3/2, trade a 1/1, Serpent Bloom on the Zixor. So if that
Imprisoned Felmall hits it, it dies. Okay.
Bam.
Excellent.
And that's 10 damage that could go to face.
Yeah.
Gone. We're at 27 when he should be much lower. Oh, he only got 1? Which means he has both Walpole-Tinkers in hand?
Must.
So Rat King into the 3/4.
Correct.
That happens. Do we go into the 3/4? Or do we go into the 1/1 knowing he's got that the Rhino to go into the... It'll be less damage to our face.
I think we're at plenty of health.
Okay, into the 3/4. Because if he runs Rhino into it, we'll take 5.
And I mean, he could run the Cub in and we take 6, but whatever.
Could, but okay.
Or he just doesn't have it in hand.
But what did he draw with the Wrangler? Walpole-Tinger. So he's not running. So either those other 2 cards in his hand are the Rhinos, or he's not running Rhinos. And I think it's probably the first. I think they're his hand. Do we
Shando Scavenger's Ingenuity here?
I think so. That means we Scavengers first, right?
Yes. No. We should. Are we going to Shando to give beasts in the deck +1/+1?
No, we're going to Shando to copy.
Oh, okay. The Rat King.
And then
okay, then yeah, Scavengers first.
Another Rat King. Great. So we just trade into the 2 3/2 two Walpole-Tingers, right?
I think so, yeah. Because they're the beasts. In case he has any other beast buff.
Then do we play the Walpole-Tinger?
I think we play the Walpole-Tinger, yep.
Okay. Though do think he has rhinos in hand, but they're only going to be 5/5s because he didn't get him buffed with Warsong Wrangler. The reason I say that, when he played Warsong Wrangler, he only got 1 minion to choose from, not 2.
Yeah.
So both of his rhinos were in hand. Okay.
So Rat King into the rhino.
I think so, but I think we tracking first.
Okay.
Leatherworking Kit.
Is it too late for that?
It might be, but I don't see any benefit for the other two. Other than the pack mule giving us...
say, Warsong Wrangler's probably going to give us either the other Wolpertinger or Zixor Prime.
Or pack mule. We buffed up pack mule. That'll help.
Yeah.
So I think we take Warsong Wrangler then. For next turn.
Yeah, for next turn.
And then we go Rat King into the 5/4.
Yep.
We trade the 1/1. We don't want to play the Marshall Cub because he has the other Rhino, right?
Correct.
He can trade this Rhino into it, kill it. It'll do 3 damage to us. He's not playing the Rhino.
See, that I would have probably just taken that 7 to face to kill off the... He's at 28. He could have taken that.
Yeah, but that might have been the right play. So I think we go Wrangler and try to get Encumbered Pack Mule.
Okay.
And then play both of them.
Yeah.
We're in a tough spot here, though. That is most likely Explosive Trap. So Pack Mule.
So do you go the... Well, you can't. You just played it. So, yeah.
We trade.
Yeah, we trade. Obviously.
Oh, no.
It's
a freezing trap.
Okay. Double Pack Mule.
Yeah. So if we kill those Pack Mules off, we'll get 1 Rat King back. This is a tough matchup. We don't really have any life gain.
That's true. That's very true.
Oh, that's 3 to the face, isn't it? Oh, no, he didn't play Mancrick yet.
Nope.
No, but that's a aim shot. Yeah. That's not lethal. That was a snap pick. That's an Explosive Trap.
Yeah. Unless it's another freezing trap. Do you go face with the 3/4 just to see if it bounces the
if I bounce anything, I'd rather bounce the Pack Mule, right?
I guess because there's only the Zixor Prime and the Wolpertinger left in the deck, so
yeah. I think we do go face with the Wrangler, though.
Okay.
Yeah, Explosive Trap. So we go face with this. Yeah, we're dead.
Play the rifle and see what we get from the trap.
Yeah, we could do that. Freezing Trap. See if he makes a mistake.
Yeah, I don't really think it'll matter. We're at 3, and his next
face.
hero power does 4.
I'm gonna Northshire Farmer on the Encumbered Pack Mule. If he attacks with the Rhino first and it gets freezing trapped, that's Good. Oh, it does 4 damage.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. His next hero power does 4 damage. So
I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a tough matchup. Any aggro deck's probably gonna be a tough matchup.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
All
my
right.
first loss in 8 games with that deck.
1-1.
You want to do one more?
Yeah. Let's do one more.
All right. These aren't really long games. That, like I said, that out of 8 games, I'm 7-1 now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good.
And I mean, it's not a win against everything deck, but it's a solid deck.
Yeah, I want to see if we can maybe try to get Leatherworking Kit early.
Yeah, I mean, in the games I did really well with, I got Leatherworking Kit early.
Another mage.
Think we throw all this back?
I agree.
Hang it.
Okay.
Scavenger's Ingenuity's good.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a weird interaction with the covered pack mule, though. Think we just pass?
Just pass, yeah.
So when you Scavenger Ingenuity the pack mule, you draw it, it makes a copy, and then the first one you drew gets the +2/+2.
Okay.
Do we Scavenger or do we coin out Zixor?
I don't hate coining out Zixor. That's
Just gonna ping it?
right, but it
But
eats
that
up
means
his
he
mana
pings
for
it.
the turn.
That's what I was thinking. And if he doesn't ping it, then he's really set back. And to be honest, I wouldn't mind Ingenuity into Wolpeltinger this turn.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, let's Ingenuity. Oh, we didn't get Wolpeltinger, but that's still not bad.
Yeah. Next turn, War Song.
Yeah, I think so. Ooh, a Selective Breeder.
Yeah.
Selective Breeder can get us Wolpertinger, but it's not going to be buffed.
Correct. It would just be a 1/1 Wolpertinger.
So let's go with Warsong. Do we Wolpertinger?
They'd be what, 3/2s?
Yeah. And then we could select a breeder for another Wolpertinger. Or is the pack mule more beneficial? We could do the same thing with pack mule, technically.
Yeah, I think the pack mule might be more beneficial because right now his hero power is doing 2 damage, so he could just ping off one of the Wolpertingers.
That's true. Yeah, let's go with pack mule. And we pass, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there's no real reason to Devouring Swarm here. He's going to have to invest into that to clear that anyways. Whoa.
Polecat.
So we know what his next draw is.
Yeah.
Do we Rat King into Polkelt?
I don't hate that. Go ahead and get Rat King on the board.
Rat King into Polkelt. Okay, so what about Warsong into the 1/2? I guess it really doesn't matter which, and then Devouring Swarm the other minion.
Yeah, that works.
It still keeps a Warsong alive. At a weird breakpoint, like he can ping it, but he's doing 2 damage to clear a 1 health minion.
Right.
So we still have a pack mule in the deck. We can Warsong this next turn for another pack mule, and it's going to make them all 6/5s.
Okay.
Doesn't clear
Well,
the Rat King.
no, but
There,
the
that
Rune Orb
does.
does. Or he could have used his hero power again to clear.
Yeah, he could have. Kind of weird that he decided to Rune Orb instead. So if we Selective Breeder, no, our hand will end up getting full if we do that. I was thinking Selective Breeder, try to find Encumbered Pack Mule, and then Warsong Wrangler for Encumbered Pack Mule. I think that gets a little crazy, though.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Let's Warsong Wrangler. Try to hit Pack Mule and then play a Pack Mule. Pack Mule. And then we play it, and it challenges the minion on the board.
Yeah.
And see, he's going to have to continually keep clearing our boards, which keeps bringing back Rat Kings.
Right.
And these are big pack mules. They're huge. They're huge. So Scavenger, Selective Breeder gives us Wolpertinger and Zixor Prime. So we probably don't want to play it yet. Love to get a Shando or an Orshire Farmer would be another good one.
Right. So double secret here.
It's going for Wildfire.
Tour guide.
I don't think you got Wildfire. We would have snap played it, right?
I think so. Well, that's what we wanted. We wanted it to compete on board.
That we did. Do we start with tracking?
Yeah, I think so.
See if we can pop the counterspell. Oh, no counterspell. Interesting. So, Kolkar plus Scavenger's Ingenuity, which would get us 6 or Prime.
Plus, and then we could Adorable Infestation on top of that, create two 1/1 hyenas.
Yeah, I like that because these are minions dying for Rat King. Okay, that's fine. So Kolkar into Scavengers. It's fine. Probably want to clear that.
Yeah.
Into Adorable Infestation on the 3/4.
Yes, so that it clears the Kolkar that we just gave him.
And so we trade into the 2/2, right?
I think so, yeah.
And now if he deals with this, he's got to also deal with the Rat King.
Correct.
We have Zixor on deck. And it's a 6/6 Zixor.
Mm-hmm.
He really needs to start shipping damage face. Because if you keep trying to clear the board, it's just going to keep getting worse. One, two. So then Rat King pops up.
Nope. Nope. Yep. You're right. Yeah. He's got 4 mana left. So he could trade in the 3/3 and hero power. That leaves him 2 mana.
I think he's just deciding to let
Ship face, yeah.
Yeah. So we just play Zixor and go face, right?
I think so.
I mean, what's he do with 4/6 attack minions on the board? He's used both of his Reckless Apprentices?
Yep.
So that's lethal on board.
That's 29 damage, yeah. Mordrish.
Oh,
That'll do it.
it'll do it.
So now, do we drop our 3 encumbered pack mules?
So I'm thinking of an order here. That's 8. 1 encumbered and Wolpertinger kills off Mordrish. So we go Wolpertinger first.
Yeah.
Encumbered.
And then
Devouring Swarm it. Then we play both encumbered. We don't have any beasts in our deck, right?
Correct.
Let's see, all those come back. Then we play. I'm just gonna play another. Where are we at on the?
Just hero power here.
Okay, yeah, hero power. I don't hate that. Does he have 9 damage over the top? I mean, hero power is 2, right? So I have 7 damage. Probably runs fireballs.
Hey, I was gonna say 8 if he has a fireball.
Yeah. He's digging. He's digging for damage. You're ordering? Okay.
Oh, that's good. We can remove the divine shield.
Yes. So let's go Wound Prey. Run in. We need 1 more dead.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what we can get off resizing pouch. That would clear that. I think maybe we save the resizing pouch for possible King Crush lethal.
Okay.
So we just clear this with 1, go face, hero power, and then just start throwing minions down.
I don't hate that, yeah.
I got room for 1 more minion, so let's go with Cub. He probably has a fireball lethal here.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he has 13 cards in his deck, so it's possible that he doesn't have a fireball in hand. He doesn't. Why would you hit the very end? Because you're going to revive Rat King anyways. That didn't make sense. He should have hit the middle one.
Varden, okay. That was a good play.
That was a very good play, actually.
Do we go for that King Crush?
We'd be trading it.
I know.
But I think we do. Oh, we didn't get King Crush, but we got Carnival Clown.
Yeah. I mean, that's 2 or 3, 4, 4 taunts.
I mean, we're really precarious right now.
Yeah.
Hey, he's playing his top deck, so no, maybe he's still digging. He's got to be getting close to that fire. You know, there's fireball in the deck.
Actually, I don't think there is.
You think this is a frost version?
I do.
That's 3 damage.
Yeah. I think this is the frost version of this deck.
So no fireballs.
No.
Oh, Ruined Orb.
Yeah.
Okay. He got us. We didn't have the greatest draws. We didn't get any Northshire Farmers. We didn't get our Shando Wild Call. We didn't get anything going on with
three straight games we never drew Leatherworking Kit.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the Leatherworking Kit was very pivotal for me winning in the past.
Yeah.
So maybe it's one of those decks you need to draw that low cost card at the beginning of the game, or it's just not very good. I don't know. Maybe that's why the win rates aren't showing really good. Like, aren't showing what I've been doing, because I've been drawing the Leatherworking Kit up till now.
Right. Okay, well, there you go, guys. It is a fun looking deck. I can't wait to go play it some myself.
It's fun.
And
It's
see how
tons
it
of fun.
goes. So, all right, gang, that's going to do it for us this week. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you haven't done so already. For more details about our Patreon-only Discord, head on over to patreon.com/heropower, and we'll see you all again next time.
Bye, guys. Have fun.